You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Bible Guys. Today is Friday.
Friday.
Yes, Friday's a good day for most people. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who work the weekdays and you are off on the weekends, congratulations to you. Now, for those people like us, we've sort of done that opposite of our whole lives. Yeah. We have more flexibility during the weekdays.
Yeah.
And so our friends say, hey, let's get away for the weekend. And we're like, we can't. We can't. We work on the weekends.
That's right.
Yeah, so anyway.
I feel like I work through the week. I volunteer on the weekends, usually.
Yeah,
so I think about
but
it.
Either way, you're busy. You can't
I have obligations.
Yes. You don't get away.
Yeah.
Right, your friends are like, we're free for the weekend. You're like, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. I'm free Friday and Saturday.
Right, that's correct. Yeah. So, hey, we have entered into a segment where it is Friday, and so most people may expect, they might expect or anticipate.
Everybody's favorite
segment, which is what made Chris mad this week. Which I'm not sure that's true, but you keep on saying it.
Thank you, Chris, for being angry on our behalf.
See, that is why I know you're not telling the truth. So you think it's your favorite segment.
It's everybody's favorite segment.
So here we go. So we are going to...
I walked into a meeting the other day.
Yes.
It was a church business meeting, an annual meeting.
Yep.
And I had two different couples call me over and say, hey, tonight, ask what made Chris mad this week from stage. They wanted me to ask it.
Really?
Yes.
Is that true?
That is true.
Wow.
Two different couples. Yep.
That's funny.
So they love it. Love it.
That's okay, whatever.
Yep.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch it up today. And so we are going to ask this segment, what made Jeff mad this week?
Well, I don't get mad very often.
That's not true at all. You just don't express it because you're wiser than me.
No, I get mad all the time, and I'm not wiser than you.
Yes.
So I have one. I have one today.
Yeah.
So you remember last week I told you I had a morning miracle.
Yes.
Where I drove into the office all the way from not to the office, to the studio, all the way from my house, all the way to the studio. It's almost like 10 miles.
Yeah.
And I passed so many lights, and I never hit a red light the whole way.
Yes.
It was like a morning miracle.
Yeah.
That's how you knew it was going to be a good day.
Yes.
Right?
I remember that. You were so happy.
Well, dude, I'm telling you today.
Yes.
What are the chances? Coming into the studio, it almost happened again.
Almost.
Oh,
let me guess. The one light made you mad.
So, no. I'm going to confess.
Oh, you're mad at a person.
On one of the lights, I kind of rolled towards the light. Like I realized, ooh.
It's red.
Yeah. So I just let off the gas.
Yeah.
I didn't hit my brakes or anything. I just let off the gas and coasted. So I didn't have to hit my brakes.
It turned green.
And it was going to turn green.
Yes.
That's right. But so it's snowy today.
Yes.
We got a couple inches of snow in Michigan. And that's normal. Michigan people, 2 or 3 inches of snow.
It's nothing.
It's like nothing. Right? We got to have like 7 or 8 inches before we start. Ooh, this is really bad, right?
Right.
So I am surrounded by 4-wheel drive pickup trucks. I'm driving a GMC Denali.
Yes.
Right? 4-wheel drive.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Correct.
I have a Chevy next to me.
Yep.
Silverado, 4-wheel drive. He's fine.
Yes.
I've got a Chevy and a GMC in front of me. Fine. So I move out. I realize it's about to turn red. I move out into an empty lane.
You mean about to turn green?
Yeah, it's about to turn green. That's right. About to turn green. I move out into the empty lane. I let off my brakes, and I'm just kind of coasting towards it. That way I don't have to hit my brakes. And then it's going to be a perfect day. It was the last light.
In a Kia?
No. A guy in a Ford F-150 cut me off and hit his brakes hard.
Oh.
He had no reason. And so we've made a couple bold declarations.
Yes.
I'm not sure Ford drivers can go to heaven.
Wow.
I'm not positive. I don't have proof in the Bible yet.
That made Jeff madder than I
people
normally
like
get.
that.
Hey, listen.
That's right.
When I get mad, I don't necessarily question people's eternity.
Dude, your truck's supposedly 4-wheel drive too.
It's correct.
If you're afraid to drive it, get out and push it.
Right.
Or park it, for crying out loud. But don't get in the way of a GMC.
Wow.
4-wheel drive, because I'm not afraid to drive.
Right.
And then to cut me off so you can hit your brakes. He was already in line.
Right.
Everybody was stopped.
Right.
Everybody was stopped.
Oh, so he went from a parked lane.
He went from a stop lane, pulled out, cut me off. I had to slam on my brakes in the snow.
Yeah.
Right? So.
He just decided he wanted to be first.
Apparently. And he wanted to make me stop.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling you, as soon as I touch my brakes, bang, it goes green.
And then you thought
he ruined it.
Today's going to be a bad day.
It was the light right here, just around the corner from where we're at.
Oh, yeah.
I made it all the way here, and then a guy in a Ford. Of course, it was a Ford.
Of course, it was a Ford.
Of course, it was a Ford.
Hey,
he makes bad choices.
You can't
Here's a
speak
person who makes
ill
bad
of
choices.
any American vehicle. Now, if it was,
if I did,
if it was
it'd be a Ford.
If it was a Toyota, you could totally make fun of it.
Yeah. Well,
Tacoma, Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah, there you go.
You could make fun of it.
Yeah.
But not Ford, man. I like Ford F-150s.
I like my GMC better.
But guess what?
What?
It's not about the Ford. It's about the guy.
That's the issue,
right?
Right. Well, he just makes bad choices.
Right.
That you can tell.
That guy.
You can tell he's that guy.
Actually, we would not want to go to the movies with that guy. Right? We wouldn't want to hang out with that guy.
That's right. So, anyways, that's what I'm mad about today is those people who ruin your streak.
Yes.
For no reason.
Yes.
He had no motivated reason. And then when it turned green, it was like he couldn't find the accelerator.
Because he just had braked.
He's driving a four-wheel drive truck, but there's snow on the ground.
Right.
He couldn't find his accelerator. Literally, 25 cars on our right just keep passing us.
The accelerator's on the right, people.
Yes, I know. Just push it a little. It'll go.
It'll go.
Oh my goodness.
It'll go.
Yep, it's the one. I'm yelling. It's the one on the right.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, Jeff, thank you on behalf of.
Yeah, it's not just me.
Everybody else who wishes that their light streak
could keep going.
Thank you for getting mad.
And everybody
at this guy.
who wishes that people would drive their vehicles.
Right.
Just drive it. That's all you have to do.
That's it. Yeah. If you own a 4-wheel drive and you can't drive in 2 inches of snow, you're right.
Yeah. And I'm not saying he should have been doing 70.
Right.
But he could have been close to the speed limit.
Right.
Nope. Can't do it. He couldn't stay in line. The whole 9 yards. Everything about that experience was bad, and it made me mad. And it happened right here on the corner.
Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible.
So that's it.
I'm mad for you, Jeff.
There you go. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank you for enlightening us. And by the way, it felt good to be on the other side of this.
Well, I wanted to take him out. That's what I want to do. I want to just spin him out or something. That's what I was thinking.
Just pull like a police car.
Yeah.
Like nudge the back
Talking
of
about
him.
people who want to take people out.
Oh, wow.
Jehu takes out Joram and Ahaziah.
I have a feeling you would not have said that if not for looking for a transition.
I wouldn't have said that. No.
I wanted to take him out in the same way that Jehu took out Joram and what is his name? Ahaziah.
Ahaziah.
Yeah, that is so funny, dude.
Yeah. So that was our transition, our terrible transitions.
All right, good job.
Okay, so in 2 Kings chapter 9, Jehu, remember he's been ordered to wipe out Ahab's entire family.
He was anointed as king.
Yeah, he was anointed king and ordered to wipe out all of Ahab's heirs. And this was a prophecy from 20 years ago. 20 years prior, Elijah had said, God's going to let you live, Ahab, but none of your heirs will live. That ensuring that Israel will never have your family on the throne again, right? So Jehu, son of Jehoshaphat, son of Nimshi, led a conspiracy against King Joram. Now, Joram had been with the army at Ramoth Gilead defending Israel against the forces of King Hazael of Aram. But King Joram was wounded in the fighting and returned to Jezreel to recover from his wounds. So Jehu told the men with him, if you want me to be king, don't let anyone leave town and go to Jezreel to report what we've done. Then Jehu got into a chariot and rode to Jezreel to find King Joram, who was lying there wounded. King Ahaziah of Judah was there too, for he had gone to visit him. The watchman on the tower of Jezreel saw Jehu and his company approaching, so he shouted to Joram, I see a company of troops coming. Send out a rider and ask if they are coming in peace, King Joram ordered. So a horseman went out to meet Jehu and said, the king wants to know if you're coming in peace. Jehu replied, what do you know about peace? Fall in behind me. The watchman called out to the king, the messenger has met them, but he's not returning. So the king sent out a second horseman, and he rode out to them and said, the king wants to know if you come in peace. And Jehu answered, what do you know about peace? Fall in behind me. The watchman exclaimed, the messenger has met them, but he isn't returning either. It must be Jehu, son of Nimshi, for he's driving like a madman. Quick, "Get my chariot ready," King Joram commanded. Then King Joram of Israel and King Ahaziah of Judah rode out in their chariots to meet Jehu, and they met him at the plot of land that belonged to Naboth of Jezreel. King Joram demanded, "Do you come in peace, Jehu?" Jehu replied, "How can there be peace as long as the idolatry and witchcraft of your mother Jezebel are all around us?" Then King Joram turned the horses around and fled, shouting to Ahaziah, "Treason, Ahaziah!" But Jehu drew his bow and shot Joram between the shoulders. The arrow pierced his heart, and he sank down dead in his chariot. Jehu said to Bidkar, his officer, "Throw him into the plot of land that belonged to Naboth of Jezreel. You remember when you and I were riding along behind his father Ahab? The Lord pronounced this message against him. I solemnly swear that I will repay him here on this plot of land, says the Lord, for the murder of Naboth and his sons that I saw yesterday. So throw him out on Naboth's property, just as the Lord said." When King Ahaziah of Judah saw what was happening, he fled along the road to Beth-Hagan. Jehu rode after him, shouting, "Shoot him too." So they shot Ahaziah in his chariot at the ascent of Gur, near Ibleam. He was able to go on as far as Megiddo, but he died there. His servants took him by chariot to Jerusalem, where they buried him and his ancestors in the city of David. Ahaziah had become king over Judah in the 11th year of the reign of Joram, son of Ahab. Well, there you go.
There you go. We're not going to read the death of Jezebel?
Do I keep reading?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I stop at 29.
Okay.
Ooh,
I guess we're going to talk about Jezebel next time.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not as if I
want me to read it?
I didn't give anything away.
God already gave it away. He already said how it was going to happen.
That's right. Exactly right.
Yep.
Do you want? I kind of want to read it.
You want to read it?
It's only a few verses.
Okay. When Jezebel, the queen mother, heard that Jehu had come to Jezreel, she painted her eyelids and fixed her hair and sat at a window. Then Jehu entered the gate of the palace, and she shouted at him, "Have you come in peace, you murderer? You're just like Zimri, who murdered his master." Jehu looked up and saw her at the window and shouted, "Who is on my side?" And 2 or 3 eunuchs looked out at him. "Throw her down," Jehu yelled. So they threw her out the window, and her blood splattered against the wall on the horses. Well, thanks for this, Chris. And Jehu trampled her body under his horse's hooves.
I love it.
Man alive, Chris.
I love it.
Then Jehu went into the palace and ate and drank. Afterward, he said, "Someone go and bury this cursed woman, for she's the daughter of a king." But when they went out to bury her, they found only her skull, her feet, and her hand. It just keeps getting worse.
It gets worse. Yeah, it's great.
When they returned and told Jehu, he stated, "This fulfills the message from the Lord, which he spoke through his servant Elijah from Tishba. At the plot of land in Jezreel, dogs will eat Jezebel's body. Her remains will be scattered like dung on the plot of land in Jezreel, so that no one will be able to recognize her."
Yeah.
Well, thanks for adding that, bud.
Well, the prophecy
we appreciate
it.
it.
Prophecy said nobody will be able to bury her.
Yeah.
They won't be able to bury her.
It's true. It's just her head and skull, her hands and feet.
So he actually appealed to the eunuchs who she's been ordering around,
right?
Who have witnessed her horrid reign, right? And all he has to do is say, "Who's with me?" Yeah. And then they just sort of look down, and he's like, "Throw her down," and they just threw her down.
Yeah. It was common and still is in some kingdoms that the queens, the princesses, the women in the harem would be protected by eunuchs. So they would castrate young men at a certain age. When you castrate a young bull, that young bull will get much bigger as a steer than he would as just a regular bull, right? Because his energy's going other places, right? So young steers will usually get bigger once you castrate him, and it's kind of the same concept. Is that at the right time, castrate a young man, he would be bigger and stronger, but without the urges. Right. And so you could trust these guys to be bodyguards to your harem. Your harem.
Yeah, to your harem.
Yeah. So these would be big, strong, muscular men. This is what kind of how you're thinking. And they're supposed to be her bodyguards. And they're done with her too.
Right. Yeah. It says her blood spattered against the wall.
Yeah, we read that already.
On the horses.
Yeah, we got that.
And then he trampled her body under the horse's hooves. Oof. That is rough.
Yeah, it's a rough way to go.
Yeah. And by the way,
she painted her eyelids and did her hair.
Right. Yeah. So she looked good.
I'm gonna go up beautiful.
That's right. By the way, when Jehu shoots an arrow and kills Joram, isn't it amazing how Joram comes out himself to meet Jehu? Like it says, hey, do you come in? Hey, let's send a rider out. Well, the rider doesn't come back. Let's send another rider out. The rider doesn't come back.
Right.
So then instead of sending like a battalion of people or something like that, he himself goes out to meet him.
Yeah.
And says, Jehu, do you come in peace? I don't understand this. Why would he? I guess he just trusted Jehu, I guess that much, because he's a commander?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was a commander.
Yeah.
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 I think that had to have been it.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is Jehu's assignment came to him a lot easier than he probably expected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So they turned around. Oh, no, they're going to flee. And then Jehu's like, hey, look, there they are. And I have an arrow and I'm a good shot. Right? And he just, shook, that's it. He's done.
So this says King Ahaziah of Judah was there, right? Why did he kill the Judah king too? Hadn't we determined that Ahaziah was a fairly good king?
I thought that Joram was the descendant, right?
Yeah.
Joram's the descendant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know me and these names, man.
I know.
I mean, I've already confessed completely that my brain does not register these names. And so, especially when you have Joram and then Jehoram.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the other name that sounds like Joram?
Jehoram.
Jehoram.
Jehoram and Joram.
Yeah, and they're both on the Israel. So Joram is on Israel's side.
Jehoshaphat.
Yeah. Well, Jehoshaphat's recognizable.
Rehoboam. Jeroboam.
Yeah. Right there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. These names that are super similar.
Yeah.
Are very confusing.
Yeah.
So yeah, my brain doesn't register.
Anyways, Jehu kills 2 kings.
Yep.
From Judah and Israel, and then he goes and has the eunuchs throw Jezebel out the window.
Yeah.
So when God cleans house.
Yep. Well,
right.
I mean, it's just like you said before. Remember a couple of days ago,
right?
You talked about the horrible things that with the 2 mothers and their sons, with the besieging of Samaria. Remember, and it's just one of those things. So any king that got overthrown, it was very, very, very common in those days that if you're in the line or lineage of that king, they would wipe you out, right?
Right.
And by the way, we saw that back with King David, remember?
Yeah.
Like everybody fled for their lives because once, somebody took the throne, then all of a sudden, remember Bathsheba was fearful for her son Solomon, remember? Because she thought, oh no, they're going to come wipe us out immediately because they're going to threaten threaten the throne and everything else. Well, this was a prophecy given by, it was Elijah?
Elijah.
It's Elijah. And
20 years before.
20 years before. And so here it comes. And so they must have known the prophecy. They must have known, the story. And so when he says, how can there be peace as long as there's idolatry and witchcraft of your mother Jezebel all around us? And it says, then King Jehoram turned the horses and fled. And so he's realizing in that moment, oh no, time to pay the fiddler, right?
Right.
It's come due. What's the phrase I'm looking for? It's come due. Something's come due.
The roosters came home to roost?
No.
I don't know.
Oh, there's a phrase.
Okay.
It's like paying the fiddler, but
yeah, I try not to get in your head too much.
but something's due, and it's time. And so I think in that moment when he turned and fled, he must have immediately known that this is the answer to the prophecy. I think he did. I really do.
I think so too. So you have here basically Jehu's going on this pretty bloody coup.
It's awful, but it was his assignment.
Yeah, it was his assignment, not because God enjoys blood.
Right.
This was God's way of bringing justice to evil people that had run his nation into the ground, led those people to worship false gods, even after Elijah called down lightning from heaven, fire from heaven, and wiped out the prophets of Baal that Jezebel was funding.
And Ashtoreth. Right? 850 of them. They restore them. They go get a bunch more. Right.
Even after they saw God do unbelievable things. Dude, I feel like I would only need to see one of those things.
Right.
Think of all of the amazing things Jezebel and Ahab saw in the lives of Elijah and Elisha.
And don't forget, then he said, the rain that hasn't rained in 3 years.
Yeah.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
He said, it's coming, and you better get in your chariot because here it comes.
Right.
And then it comes.
Right.
So it's not just the fire from heaven. It's then the 3-year drought is announced by that prophet, and the rain comes.
And so many things like this that they saw, and yet they continued to worship false gods and leading the people to do horrific things. We've already talked about all the horrific things.
Yeah, and then he steals.
So again, 20 years. God seems pretty patient in this, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He seems patient, and then finally goes, okay, it's time for justice. And God uses men to do his bidding. That's what he does. And so Jehu doesn't wind up being a great king himself or a good king. He's successful, but he's not always moral. But in this situation, God uses him to bring justice against evil. And God's justice will prevail always. He might be patient. He might allow time to run out for a while. But it's not that God's never going to bring justice. It's just that sometimes he has not yet brought justice. But justice is coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to read more about Jehu, but one of the things in the Life Application Study Bible, it says one of his weaknesses and mistakes, it says he was devoted to God only to the point that obedience served his own interests.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
So it's just.
He was devoted to God. He also worshipped Jeroboam's golden calves.
Yeah, which
right?
is
So he
crazy.
kind of had this divided. This is what James says: a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Right.
Right. And this was the issue for him. He had great potential. He had just enough recklessness in him.
Right.
What you're going to see, that he was willing to take bold initiatives and chances. Right. And so he wound up seeing tremendous successes, and he could rally men to follow him, and he was powerful, but his people could at times prosper. He did a lot of good things like that. But then he's got this, I'm devoted to God because he used God like a good luck charm, is what he did. But then he also kept Jeroboam's golden calves because it was a politically expedient. He didn't want to offend everybody. And so you're like, oh man, he could have been the one to turn the tides in northern Israel. He was close.
Right.
But he just didn't. When you go halfway, you really never actually get there with God. You got to go all in. When you go all in, that's when God changes everything for you. And he missed it. So anyways, we'll talk about that over the next little while.
Which, by the way, I just want to throw this out there. I am glad that we read The Death of Jezebel. And I'm sure
you just want to get her out of our lives.
I mean, think about it. It's like this buildup where you remember at the end of The Princess Bride where he goes, well, who kills Humperdinck? And he goes, nobody. And he goes,
what?
Grandpa, why'd you even read me this story? Remember?
He's outraged.
Yeah, he goes, like, who gets Humperdinck? No, he lives, and he's like, what? Yeah, it's like there's a part of you that wants to see Jezebel, just pay, and it's like, yeah, that was pretty gruesome, but then again, it was Jezebel, right?
Yes, right.
So hey, I guess. There's a part of me, a warped part, that was like, good for you. Yeah.
Well, it's surprising. You read the Bible. I mean, this isn't the Bible. God wanted us to know that story.
Well, hey, listen, it's people say it's not interesting, it's boring. It's not boring.
I'm like, you have not read the Bible.
Right.
At least you haven't read it with the Bible guys.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. Well, that's funny.
Yep.
Okay. Well, hey, that is our time together. So hopefully we will see you Monday on the Bible Guys.